Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing out there? This is the Sunday Chill. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge with Uncle Steve. How y'all doing out there today? Today's kind of I don't know. To me, it's kind of a point, like a point in the road, like a fork in the road, I should say. Uh, Today being Game 7 of the NBA Finals is just to me like that last marker before we get into the 5 to 6 weeks before we get ready to start training camp. I know I always kind of put this in at the end of the NBA finals. Then you got to wait a little bit before you get to the really good stuff, which is training camp, which usually signals the beginning of NFL football. In the meantime, I do want to ask you, who do you have tonight? OKC or Indiana? And then also, we're going to do it together. And I hope I get enough people that we can combine these thoughts and do it together. We're going to take names of whoever you all have. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, don't give me a list of 20 names, so I have to type them down. I'm hoping we can get one name per person. Or if you have different ones, you can put them on different uh, chat bubbles or however we're going to do it. But we're going to try to do the top 10 Atlanta Falcons in franchise history. And I'm going to tell you why we're going to do that, as one of our former Falcons made the news this past week uh, as he got married last week. And in a nostalgic mode, the question was asked whether that former Falcon, Grady Jarrett, is one of the top 10 Atlanta Falcons of all time. And first, when you hear it initially, the first thing you want to think about it. But I was very quickly, after about 3 seconds, I was like, oh, I'm not even sure if he's one of the top 10 defensive Falcons of all time. And if we go through the list, I'll show you why. Okay, so let's do this on the other side. Sunday Chill, Uncle Steve's Lounge, bring it on. Any questions, any topics, we'll tackle it today as we lead up to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Y'all come back with me.
You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time.
What is going on again? How y'all doing out there today? It is June 22nd, 2025, and you are here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Appreciate y'all joining us today. As you're coming in, make sure you hit that like button and like the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, we would appreciate you doing that too. Thank you so much. We appreciate all the support. Uh, Again, I mentioned the date, June 22nd. This is going to be the last day uh, as far as sports is concerned for the NBA. This is the last game, Game 7, OKC versus Indy. Who you got? I, this has been such a the playoffs itself has actually been pretty decent, and I like the fact that we had uh, pretty much for new teams uh, that haven't really been in the mix that much. I'm glad that we were kind of switching it up just a little bit, and we ended up with the Pacers and OKC on paper looked like it may have been a little bit of a mismatch, but as you see, the Indiana Pacers have really showed the NBA world that they can do it with some team ball, and I like it. I like it a lot. I really don't have a dog in the fight at all. Like nobody that I'm saying woohoo over the other team, but I will uh, probably say if I had your money to bet, I would go with Oklahoma City in this being at home. That's the only reason I would probably lean in that direction. However, it would not shock me if Indiana came out and played this very strongly. But my official pick, I'll say OKC. But hopefully, as we all say in sports, I just hope it's a good game, and I hope it is. Uh, I wanted to get into today a question, and for those who know me as well, I've been a longtime member and for the last few years, one of the admins in Atlanta Bird Gang. Shout out to Tidy, who's been running the show over there. And he asked a question last week. And one of the reasons I think was because Grady Jarrett, uh, former Atlanta Falcons, obviously longtime Falcon, just got married. Congratulations to you, uh, Grady. And he posed the question: is Grady Jarrett a top 10 Falcon in franchise history? Now, I know when you're in the immediacy of it, like if you're a fan from the 21st century, there's a possibility that you might slip and say that he is. But I answered the question pretty quickly. Not only do I not think Grady Jarrett is not a top 10 player of all time in Falcons history, I don't even think he's a top 10 defensive player of all time. I think he has some longevity, which is something that you don't get a whole lot of these days. Solid defensive lineman. Of course, those first couple of years were much more memorable as far as he's concerned. No one will forget the Super Bowl that he had and the possibility that he probably would have been MVP had the job been finished. But as far as a top 10 of all time, I don't know if I'm feeling that. So what I wanted to do today in just the past time, and obviously if you have any other questions that you want to ask, feel free to ask. We'll pretty much tackle anything. This is a very light kind of day aside of the NBA final. We did have a couple of sports today. Atlanta Braves took one on the chin, 5-3 to the Miami Marlins. Those Braves, something else, man. They won 4 out of 6, so a little bit to look forward to. But whew, you're getting to that halfway point of the season where you really want to make that turn, and I'm hoping they are. It looks like they're playing a little better, but the Miami Marlins, you got to take care of business on that. Should have at least taken 2 out of 3, but we didn't. So we'll move on from them. Atlanta Dream, who seemed like that's going to be the team that we're going to be rooting for this summer. They took out the Chicago Sky and the much ballyhooed Angel Reese and her team. I think Angel ended up with a googlob of rebounds. I think she had 19 rebounds in the game, but uh, that's not turning into wins for them as they got beat by 13. I think it was. It was 93 to 80, and Dream still entrenched as one of the top 4 teams in the WNBA. So for those who are looking for something to look forward to during the summertime, the Dream is definitely one of the teams that I would look for to turn your attention to. So again, I want you all to help me. So I'm gonna put up a list before I go to the chat. So I'm gonna put up a list, And in this list is going to be top 10 Atlanta Falcons in franchise history. So what I'm going to do is, as you all are giving me players, I'm going to put the players in there, and then uh, we'll erase, we'll adjust, we'll edit, we'll make decisions together on who you think should be on this list and who shouldn't be on this list. So it's the top 10 Atlanta Falcons in franchise history. So as you all are coming up with names, I'll come up with names at the beginning and see if it's anybody else that I can add to the list. I'm just going to start the list. Um, I'm just going to start with a couple of the obvious ones. And this is in no order. So don't start tripping if you don't see your guy on here. So I got, you got to put Matty Ice on there. I don't know why I had two. But, let's try that again. So those of you who are going to laugh at my uh, typing skills, please uh, don't laugh too hard. Uh, I'm just gonna put his name, not even gonna put his name. So Matt Ryan, I'm gonna put him down. I'm gonna put Julio. I'm gonna put him Julio Jones. His name. I'm gonna put for the sake of putting somebody, Mike Vick. I'm gonna put Deion Sanders. I'm gonna put Claude Humphrey. And if I spell something wrong, don't kill me. I'm gonna put William Andrews. I'm gonna put I'm gonna put who else am I gonna put? I'm gonna put Gerald Riggs. He'll be somebody that I look at a little bit later and check that out. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm gonna as I go down the list, I hope you all will add some folks for me. We'll add the names and then we'll decide together how we can do this. Okay. So let's go down the list. Who we got today in the chat? We got our brother Demetrius Jeffries here. What's going on, man? What's good, Uncle Steve? Happy belated Father's Day. Thank you, sir. I know I'm way late. Hope you enjoyed yourself on that day. I did, man. Actually, uh, the family did some great things for me. I appreciate them. Love them to death. The wife, the kids, had a great time and appreciate them. Brother Jonathan Freeman is in the house. Thank you so much, sir. He said, love the opening, music, and production. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. I got to catch up with you offline now that I got this retired thing going on. I might have to pick your brain for a couple of things, but I will be in touch, no doubt, with you. But I thank you, sir, and thank you for the compliments on everything. We try one step at a time. DJ says, by the way, I went to another wrestling meet and greet and met Matt Hardy. Oh, Matt Hardy. Delete. That one was on Father's Day. Now they need to bring out Jeff Hardy to Atlanta for a meet and greet. Yeah, Jeff Hardy would be pretty cool. I've always been a fan of the Hardy Boys. Hardy Boys are awesome, man. Awesome. Lisa Shepard is in here. Hey, Lisa, how are you? I saw some pics of you with my brother Berto up there, taking some shots up there with the aforementioned Mike Vick. Love it. DJ says, I'm curious to hear everyone's top 10 Falcons list one day. Yeah, this is going to be pretty cool to see. Now, he already put Mike Vick, who I have Mike Vick on the list. I'm going to probably see if I can blow that up a little bit more. I know if y'all can't read it, I apologize. But I'm just trying to get the list together so y'all can get a little snippet of what I can see. He said the Atlanta Dream has been playing great. They've been playing awesome. And side note for the Dream, that game against the Liberty really screwed me up because they had the Liberty dead to right and just kind of, the champions are going to fight back. So you gotta finish that. So I know they got to get that together. But the Atlanta Dream right now with the inside front with Griner and Jones, and now Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, and Tahina is jumping right from South Carolina right into the mix of them threes, man. So bring Pow Pow in there, man. I think we're gonna be just fine. Lisa, yes, let's go dream. Demetra says Pow Pow needs to start because she could shoot the lights out. Only thing that bothers me about Tahina is right now she turning the ball over way too much. And sometimes if you see her even dribbling down the court, she looks like it's like almost a little bit of a challenge right now. I gotta get her to kind of get that ball under control. But again, it's early in the season, so hopefully we'll get that together. Smart Rod in the house, man. What's going on, man? He said, "Oh Lord, I'm about to lose my mind." Yeah, hopefully you talk about as far as the season. Nothing to do as far as the season is concerned. Again, last game in the NBA season, so you got a lot of dead time. I'm not telling you I'm not an Atlanta Braves fan. I am, but with the Braves, it's definitely one of those things where I'm near the end of the season and the playoffs. I'm probably a little bit more engaged that way because the Braves are usually perennial playoff teams. So I don't sit there and try to pretend I'm going to be as active in 162 games. I know a lot of folks were still worried about the Braves. I still think they're going to be fine, especially with more than 80 plus games left. I'm not getting ready to write them off right. Atlanta Falcons pandemic in the house. What is going on, brother? How y'all doing? Y'all make sure y'all check out Atlanta Falcons pandemic. Put up great content. And I had a chance to get on a string with him and Big Low the other week. We had a great time. Y'all make sure y'all check him out, man. We said we're going to try to definitely do that again. We had a great time that day. Jonathan is going to add what he says, Wallace Francis. I know he's laughing, but this is what I'm going to do. Again, as y'all are giving me names, I'm going to put the names down here, and then obviously we'll put a name up, take a name down. So Wallace Francis is definitely not. The good preacher is definitely not one of the top 10 Falcons of all time. But guess what? I got to finish the list out. So I'm going to put his name down there for now for craps and giggles, and then we'll do it from there. Mighty Falcon is in the house. Now, he has two names that are pretty legit. So you got Jeff Van Note, which is a very good call. And I think I saw Jesse Tuggle on there. Did I see Jesse Tuggle? Yes, Jesse Tuggle. So those are two names there. And while I'm at it, since he said Van Note, you got to put Mike Ken on there since I'm putting that on here. So Mike Ken's got to be one. Pandemic said the background is fire. Yeah, oh, thank you, man. I'm working on some things, man. I'm trying to just change some things up. I haven't gotten rid of the old set yet, but I'm just trying to do some things just to spice it up a little bit, get a little Falcon ambiance going on. I hope y'all do like it. Jay Diaz is in the house. What is going on, brother? Good to see you, man. I know I see you a lot during the Falcon season. I can't wait to check you out during the season. We can talk about these Falcons. Pandemic says, is the Grits Blitz considered a person? Not all of them. Now, they probably are one of the greatest combined sides of the ball, I guess, when you start talking about, because it's funny because as I'm reading off the names who on, Buddy Curry, Fulton Dyke, Kuykendall, Joel Williams. I wouldn't consider any of them top 10, but I would definitely consider them on the greatest defense we ever had, no doubt, which was that Grits Blitz defense. That's funny. DJ says, anybody putting Roddy White on the list? I will. I'll put him on there, Roddy. And we'll start kind of whittling this down a little bit. Roddy White, most definitely. And Tommy Novus, absolutely. I don't know why that's Mr. Falcon, so we should have had him down there pretty early. And I do notice nobody has said Grady Jarrett, which does make me does kind of get to my original point on there. Jay says, I wish we could have put Tony G on the list. Yeah, I I love Tony G and what he was for Matt Ryan when he came here. He was definitely a nice outlet for them. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna put uh him on the list, but during that 4 to 5 year span, I mean, he really was. He's arguably now my tight end for Falcons history has to be Algie Crumpler. If there is no Algie Crumpler, Mike Vick, his numbers would have been worse than uh, it kind of looked for him during a couple of times because yeah, Algie held it down. The work he did with Mike Vick alone, it was enough for me to have him uh, probably be the top guy on this. All love to uh, uh, Big Brother Mitchell that played ball here, Junior Miller, Austin Hooper. Uh, Shouts out to all of them. But yeah, as you say on here, Jay, he wasn't here long enough. I probably can't put him on there. I will, as we are on here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's 13 names right here. And again, we can add and subtract. I'm going to go ahead just for the sake of going ahead, take out brother Pastor Wallace Francis and take him off the list. Uh, I mean, these are some pretty tough ones right here. When you start talking about top 10 of all time, I can't leave Tommy off. Uh, like I said, folks, I just can't. I can't leave him off. Uh, boy, Gerald Riggs is still our all-time leading rusher. It's going to be hard to take him off. Y'all gonna have to help me out with some of this. This is going to be tough, and I'm pretty sure we've left a couple of folks off. This is a tough one. Greg is in the house. What's going on, Greg? Greg from Greg Custom Kicks. Y'all make sure y'all hook up with Greg so you can get your shoes done for the year. He's probably getting ready to take some orders uh, for folks going into the year. I told him last week I need to stop procrastinating and get on that. But once I get some free time, brother, I'm gonna reach out to you and get on there. He said, "What's up? No Croy Bierman on this. No, not quite. I will leave Croy. Croy got his own issues right now. I don't think Croy thinking about the Falcons. He thinking about other stuff. But I don't think Croy is gonna make the list. Pandemic said, yeah, this is gonna be hard. Listen, this is hard. So, okay, y'all see the list, and I hope y'all can see it. I apologize. I'll say it if you can't. My eyes are challenged too. So far, we have Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Mike Vick, Deion Sanders, Claude Humphrey, William Andrews, uh, Gerald Riggs, Jeff Van Note, Jesse Toggle, Mike Ken, Roddy White, Tommy Novas. Now, I know some people are gonna get upset with me with this about who I'm about to take off this list. And this is not because I don't respect his game and thought he was uh but I'm talking about top 10 of all time Atlanta Falcons. I think I gotta take Roddy White out. I love Roddy, but if Roddy isn't the top wide receiver, and I know he does hold I think he has the touchdown record. I think he has that over Julio, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think he does. Real quick. Uh, uh, I'm pretty sure uh, that he has the record for. Uh, let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna find out. I'm pretty sure Roddy. Roddy. Let's see. Uh, okay? Receiving. Let's see history. Let's go to scoring, and I think from a scoring standpoint, who has the most touchdowns for the Falcons? Body's got to be up there, right? I'm gonna find out in a little bit. For some reason, this is throwing me off. But I gotta take Roddy off there. So that leaves me with Matt, Julio, Mike, Dion, Claude, William, Gerald, Jeff, Jesse, Mike Ken, Tommy Nobis. Somebody's got to go, y'all. So right now on this list, and if there's somebody that you got to add, go ahead and add. So I want to hear from y'all. You see the list up here. Top 10 Atlanta Falcons. That's 11. Tell me who leaves. Tell me if somebody else should go so we can adjust this list. And again, we also asking the question for those of you who are watching the game tonight, who do you have as far as your pick for the Indiana OKC game? Man, this is really a tough list, y'all. I'm trying to. Whew, if I had to, Tommy's got to stay. Mike Ken, man, I don't think people realize how awesome Mike Ken was. I think I got to keep Mike Ken on the game. You know what's probably getting ready to happen, y'all? I'm probably about to mess up. I don't know. I might. Hmm. We're gonna see. Pandemic says Roddy holds these records: receptions, uh, 8 on receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. That's what I thought. I was pretty sure he had the receiving touchdown record. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. This is tough, but I think I'm gonna make some people mad. I think I got to take Mike Vick off. I didn't say most popular. I said top 10 Falcons of all time. I love Mike. Love Mike Vick. I think I got to take him off. This is a pretty solid top 10, and I know I'm probably missing somebody. Jonathan says Roddy has to stay on the list. Now, listen. I think right here's my big problem right now. And I guess the fight is going to be for Julio or Roddy. And I could have both. Don't get me wrong. You can have two wide receivers on there. Okay, if y'all and I see you and Mighty Falcon on there. If Roddy stays, who's going? Somebody's got to go there. If y'all give me who's gonna go, I'll gladly put them back up there. That's what this. I want this to be interactive. If you feel like Roddy is gonna stay on this list, one of these other 10 are gonna have to go. I I, I only see two names. Well, three names. I'm pretty sure is not. Uh, you know, I think you got to keep Matt. I think you got to keep Tommy Nobis. Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm partial for William Andrews, even though those of you who play back then. And Jonathan, that's a great point. I don't want to count the tenure out because it is important. But I will, in the same breath, that was the same reason that I even brought up the question because I know a lot of people were like, Grady Jarrett stayed here for 9 years and he was here doing that. And I was like, well, true, but I don't know. I got a name on there that if he stays around a couple of more years, by your criteria, not criticizing it, but by your criteria, we're gonna have to think about Jay Matthews. Jay Matthews has been here a long time and pretty solid most of the time. So one of these guys are gonna have to probably take a back seat to it. Okay, so again, I have zero issue with the list. I mean, I have zero list. Sorry, let's try it again. I have zero issues with Roddy White making the list, but I've got to take somebody off. If you all can give me somebody to take off the list, I'll gladly switch it up. But we could only have 10. And I know we're missing some folks. I know we are. I'm looking on here. I'm not gonna put any special teams guys on there, not at all. There are some people that Andre Rison had a lot of touchdowns here. He's somebody that people think about a lot of times. He had a pretty good career here. He wasn't here for a long time, but do you discount the impact Jamal Anderson had? Jamal did help us to a NFC championship. Is that somebody that we consider along the way? He really was, you know, somebody pretty solid. I'm trying to pull up something else here. Bill Fralick. Bill Fralick was here. Bill Fralick took care of business, man. Rest his soul. When he came in, 2-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowl player. We were talking about not putting Tony G on here, but he was here 4 solid years, 4 Pro Bowls. Keith Brooking was here 5 years. Well, he was here longer than that. But he gave us 5 strong years at Pro Bowl in the Pro Bowl, part of the Super Bowl team as a rookie. He was pretty solid. So, again, now don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody to get fooled. Atlanta is not it wasn't exactly, you know, a juggernaut. So from a franchise standpoint, we don't want to put him up there too high. Johnson said, take Vic off. Oh, no, I took Vic off. I took Vic off already. Right now, and again, and I know, so my list is at this moment. My list is Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Deion Sanders, Claude Humphrey, William Andrews, Gerald Riggs, Jeff Van Note, Jesse Tuggle, Mike Ken, and Tommy Nobis. That's my list right now. That's my list right now. Pandemic says we have William Andrews and Gerald Riggs. Why not Michael Turner? Although he didn't start with us. That's a very good point. I'm not going to lie to you. I can probably be twisted with William Andrews. Inside, William Andrews is my favorite Atlanta Falcon of all time. I'm sure a lot of people may not feel the same way about him, but I will tell you this. When William Andrews came on the scene, this franchise's fortunes changed. When we had to deal with the Dave Hamptons and the Bubba Beans back in the day, okay runners, but when William Andrews came on the team, that was our first legitimate runner that this franchise had, and it's no coincidence he was the running back for our the first 3 playoff teams we had. And I'll say again, if you take off that his injury he had, I'm telling you, William Andrews would probably be one of the top running backs, probably of all time. But those injuries did catch up with him. But it's a good question about Michael Turner. But again, I guess you have to make the decision. So I don't mind taking William Andrews off. Mighty Falcon says it's easy. He said he puts Roddy over William Andrews. Pretty easy. I don't know about easy. I will say I think William Andrews was a better Falcon than Roddy White. And we also have to remember, not Roddy's fault. Roddy kind of languished under Mike Vick. Didn't get a chance to play with him that much. But when he was drafted, he didn't take off until Matt kind of came on the scene. So I don't have a problem taking out William Andrews. I don't. But I'm just trying to tell you, if those of you, and I know everybody isn't, who was back in the day, William Andrews was a beast. Van Dimmen said, yes, William Andrews and Steve Bartkowski was all it took for me to be a lifelong fan. Let me tell you something. I was a hair away from putting Steve Bartkowski out there. But I do realize Bart didn't start having the success he had until he had a legitimate running game. And that running game was for William Andrews. Now, again, if y'all want to take out William Andrews, let me know. And Mighty Falcon says it's an easy pick. So let me know if y'all want to take out Roddy over. If you want to take out William Andrews and put Roddy White, say yes. If you want to keep William Andrews and say, Roddy, sorry, we'll catch you next time, say no. So yes for Roddy over Williams, no, William Andrews stays. Pandemic also said William Andrews could have been talked about in the same breath as Walter Payton and Earl Campbell. Super easy. Super easy. I mean, I don't think people realize how good this cat was. This cat was no joke. 4-time Pro Bowler. You know, when he came on the scene after the Falcons made that first playoff appearance, he came in 79, 1,000 yards, 239 carries. 1980, 265 yards, 1,300 yards. 81, statistically one of his greatest years. 289, 1,301. And then his really good year, 1983, 331 attempts, 1,567. And then, of course, he got injured and really was never the same after that. But you start putting that stuff together. I'm just trying to tell you. Okay, so that's one yes. So say put Roddy over William Andrews. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna do it. Pandemic said both had similar impact, but Andrews did it in far less time. Okay, so I can get over my feelings. It's the host show, but y'all want to say Roddy White over William Andrews. I'm gonna put it over here. I'm gonna listen to the folks, so I disagree, and say Roddy White and put him on the list, which is really interesting. But I guess when you do have the career numbers for the franchise, I guess I can understand that. I'm trying to think from a defensive standpoint, is there anybody that we're missing when you start talking about the Falcons too, from a defensive standpoint? I'm just very briefly looking at some of the defensive players in Falcons history who actually were Pro Bowlers on the team or something like that. But from a defensive standpoint, do you think about Roland Lawrence? Is that somebody that we have to put on here? Roland Lawrence he was all pro the year the Grits Blitz was really born back in '77. He had 39 interceptions, drafted in '73, ended in '80. Just a super solid player over the years. And think about these numbers, man. Now, this is in the NFL when they only had 14 games. 75, he had 9 interceptions. 76, he had 6. 77, he had 7. 78, he had 6. 79, he had 6. If he was in today's game, he'd be an all-pro with those type of numbers. Is Roland Lawrence somebody that we have to think about for that particular list, especially on defense? Ray Boo was only here a short amount of time, but he definitely kept that corner locked down when he was over there. Is he somebody that we think about when you start talking about the list? I think he's, you know, Pandemic says Scott Case is definitely an honorable mention. I would definitely I think again, Scott Case is one of those guys. I think I would put him in the running. I don't think he's a top 10 all time. Matter of fact, some would even argue he flourished once he left Atlanta. But Scott Case is definitely somebody we caught early, and he was a really good safety. Really good safety. But it is kind of interesting. I don't know if anybody else really can make much of a case for the other guys, but that's where we are right now. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Deion Sanders, Claude Humphrey, Roddy White, Gerald Riggs, Jeff Van Note, Jesse Tuggle, Mike Ken, Tommy Nobis. It is. I'm gonna hold my uh my honorable mention for William Andrews, but I, I think that's it. So again, so back to the point of making the list, I think we are, because as Falcons fans and with the little bad run we're on right now, it's easy to overhype somebody like Grady Jarrett. And again, I'm not saying Grady isn't an awesome player and he was good for us when he was good, but he is not a top 10 of all time. David said this is a solid list. It is. Kelvin says Morton Anderson. I can appreciate what Morton has done for us over the years. I can appreciate what he did. I'm not sure I can put him as a top 10. And if I'm really honest, because of those ties to those Aints, it's gonna be really hard for me. It's gonna be hard for me to put a straight face on and have him as one of the top 10 of all time for us. But he is. He's the all. Did Matt Bryant pass him? I don't think did Matt Bryant pass him. I don't think he did. Let's see, did he pass him for all time scorer? I don't think he did. Was Morton still number one? No, Matt Bryant is number one. Okay. So yeah, Matt Bryant passed him by a lot. I apologize. So yeah. But yeah, if I was gonna put somebody up there, I would put Matt Bryant before I put Morton Anderson. And Matt Bryant hit some pretty big kicks in his career, but of course Morton will always be remembered for the kick that got us into the Super Bowl, which was arguably one of the, if not the greatest moment in Falcons history of doing that. Van Dibbit says he's partial to Andrews too. Yeah, I am. And I'm remembering because being so much younger at that time, William Andrews was one of the guys that really got me into my fandom when you start talking about the Atlanta Falcons. Again, that's what we're doing tonight. We talking about top 10 Atlanta Falcons of all time. I have the list. I'll repeat it again in a second. If y'all coming in for the first time in the last few minutes, thank you for joining us. Please hit the like button, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. We appreciate your uh, participating in this. Update the list one more time. Just let y'all know we have top 10 so far. We have Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Deion Sanders, Claude Humphreys, Roddy White, Gerald Riggs, Jeff Van Note, Jesse Togel, Mike Ken, Tommy Nobis. Now, I'll be honest, there's another part. I have zero issue leaving Deion Sanders on because he was really great, but his tenure was not that long. Does he fall into that category of, you know, should he be recognized like that because he wasn't here for a long time? I'm willing to kind of give him the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, man, Deion was only here for a short amount of time. Deion was here from 89 to 93. Now, in that time, he was all pro 3 years. Was on one of the playoff teams, the 91 team, one of the more memorable playoff teams, and he was a straight baller. First team all pro. Let me make sure I put some respect on that. First team all pro 2 of the years. His last year with the Falcons, he was defensive player of the year. Third, well, he came in third for defensive player of the year. So I don't want to take him off, but if it was somebody that I would think about, it would be him. It would be. Van Dimmer said, no, he said Deion is a must. He made the best of his time here. Yeah, and I'm not saying he didn't. But as Jonathan pointed out earlier when we were talking about it, when you start talking about tenure sometimes as an Atlanta Falcon, that does count. Yeah, all five years or yeah, 8, 9, 90, 91, 92, 93. All 5 years he was here, he absolutely balled out. Mighty Falcon says thoughts on Todd McClure. Todd McClure is one of the most solid Atlanta Falcons that you're going to have. And Todd McClure was also here during a critical time in Falcons history when we had the 5 playoff run, 5 playoffs in a row. I just don't feel like that's going to still qualify him as a top 10 of all time. Matter of fact, my first criteria is whether he was the best at his position for us, and I think that was Jeff Van Note. But Todd McClure is getting much respect from me because he was a very solid center when he was here for the Falcons. No disrespect at all. I take Todd McClure 5 days out of the week for that position because he was solid and you didn't have to worry about the position. Van Dimmen said just like Deion Sanders, William Andrews made the most this time for his 6 years as All-Pro. Yeah, I have no problem with that's why I say with William Andrews it's tough because the running back and he held it down again. That was such a critical position on your team to be a ball out running back like he was. Uh, I think that should count for something. I do. Buddy Curry was solid, but does he make the cut? And I alluded to that earlier. I think Buddy's inclusion on that grits blitz defense makes him uh, like if they did include groups, like fearsome foursome, uh, what do they call the sack exchange, New York sack exchange, the grits blitz, folks. That's a record that won't be broken because we won't have 14 games ever again. But that record for least amount of points in a 14-game season, that's remarkable. Yeah, and that particular season again, we were 7-7. But as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go to that year real quick just to kind of give an idea of what games were like for the Atlanta Falcons. I remember that year, and I remember being extremely ticked off that we didn't make the playoffs that year. Uh-oh. Ooh, y'all know when y'all can. Okay, Atlanta Falcons, and I just want to go to the 1977 season, and I'm gonna put this up here so y'all can see. Hold on. Trying to take these ads off so the ads won't be showing on here. Okay, here we go. I remember this because this was such an awesome team. Say Grit Splits was definitely the best defense ever. NFL uh they had an NFL showing for that team. Um uh let me see what we got here. Where's my share? Share screen. I was so ticked off when this team didn't make the playoffs. I really was. Make that larger. See if I can get that. So look at this team right here. I'm sorry, y'all. I was trying to bring it in. Okay, that team started the year uh, with the Rams. They beat the Rams. They only allowed 6 points. Week 2, 10 points. Giants 3. Frisco 0. Lost to the Bills 3-0. Chicago 10. Minnesota 14 lost the game. Frisco only allowed 10. Detroit Lions 6. The most points scored that year against the Falcons was the Los Angeles Rams, and I'm gonna tell you, back then the Los Angeles Rams were the ball. They they had they allowed 23 points. That was the most the Grits Blitz team allowed that year. So whenever you hear people talk about that team, just remember that was absolutely one of the best teams uh, of all time, especially one of the best defenses of all time. So it's really hard, y'all. I'm finding it very difficult to adjust this. So I do want y'all to, as you guys are sharing it and letting people look at this, or if you're looking at this video when we're not live, I want you to see if there's anybody that we're missing on this list that we had. Again, I'm gonna uh, put the list up one more time to show you who we ended up having on there. We ended up with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Deion Sanders, Claude Humphrey, Roddy White, Gerald Riggs, Jeff Van Note, Jesse Toggle, Mike Ken, and Tommy Novus. Again, I disagree. I would have taken out Roddy White and put in William Andrews, but uh, I'll default to the to the audience this go round. So we'll let y'all have that. But again, y'all make sure y'all pass this on to your friends. Ask the questions. Hey, Uncle Steve said, what is what's that top 10 looking like? But y'all do that for me. Again, as y'all enjoy game 7 today, OKC versus Indiana. Again, I hope it's a great game. I think my thought process is that it's going to be OKC. Uh, OKC is definitely uh, with them being the home team. I like that. MW franchise player, what is going on, my friend? Rise up to you. Hope everything is going all right with you. Mighty Falcon says there could be a debate for Andrews over Dion. I could debate that. I would take that. And but here's the problem, I think, with that one. Dion was so strong those last 3 years. Uh, he was all pro, not Pro Bowl. He was all pro those last 3 years in Atlanta and so dominant. And that's not even including his special team prowess that we had. So yeah, I'm still thinking about the Roddy White. I love Roddy, but I just think I would go in that direction. Pandemic says Indy just might pull off upset, or what you call an upset. I think it has to be an upset because OKC won 68 games this year. From that sense, I think I gotta call it an upset. But if you watch the playoffs, or better yet, if you watch since the All-Star break, the Pacers have been one of the best teams in the NBA since then. Matter of fact, I think this lost the back-to-back losses they had prior to their game 6 win was the first consecutive losses I think they had since March, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. So yeah, I'm not sure I would call it a clean upset, but I would say uh, I would be surprised, and especially at home. I just think OKC might be in a better position. Again, folks, I appreciate you all joining me on the Sunday Chill. Thank you so much. If y'all want to do an uncle favor, please like the video on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, go to the YouTube channel, Uncle Steve's Lounge. It's out there. Put it out there. We will try to get back with you all as soon as we can. If you have any additions to the top 10 list or any suggestions, please put them in the comments. We will be back with you soon. We know we got a little bit of a break to the football season. Y'all take care. Falcons are right around the corner, and I think it's going to be worth the wait. Hopefully, everybody has a great Sunday. Until then, take care. It's your Uncle Steve and Uncle Steve's.